Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm happy to bring you 3 DIY Dollar Tree black and white buffalo check sort of DIYs. We're going to use these little picture frames, this love sign, and then some wooden hearts, whichever ones. We're going to use a variety of fabrics from the Dollar Tree, including this one that's sort of new, and hopefully you guys can find it, as well as some letters, embellishments, and paint, and yada yada yada, you'll see. For the first one, we're going to take these picture frames. I swear that this came out in a rectangle, a square, and an oval, but I can only find squares and ovals. But this was inspired by like a pin that I've had on Pinterest for about, I don't know, 4 years, I think. But there were different varieties and sizes of frames. I was trying to find different ones and just to be like coordinated but different. But you'll see, it's a really cute DIY. I'm going to take them outside and I'm going to spray 2 of them white and 2 of them black. Now in hindsight, probably should have sprayed the, like, okay, so you can either change the sizes to be like square round, or you could change the colors to be black, white, black, white. But if you want it to be both, then you'll have to make sure that you spray both ovals white and both squares black, or vice versa. Now, I am just going to take some wooden letters from the Dollar Tree just to show you. You can spell love, you could spell hugs, you can make 3 picture frames and spell I, heart, the letter U, whatever you really want to. There's really no limits. But I wanted to show you was, if you can't find these letters and you don't want to just use a sticker, how can you make a sticker pop? And the way we're going to do is we're going to use a thin piece of cardboard. Now this is the box from a Christmas tree, but a shirt box, any thin piece of cardboard that you could use, you stick the letters to. You can even paint them. Trust me, once the paint dries, you can actually see the edges of the sticker. And then you can just cut them out. What I did was, while the paint was drying, I went ahead and I painted 2 wooden letters white. I picked the L and the V because I am going to switch them up, but you can make them all the same color. Of course, you can do these in reds and pinks and white if you want to. Obviously, the sky is really the limit. Just the limits of your own imagination, I'm guessing. And of course, you could use scrapbook paper or fabric or whatever you want in the picture frame to adhere the letters to. But I'm just going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you that. We're going to make it so that they are reusable and changeable. So I'll show you that in a minute too. I'm now cutting out the letters. The O and the E I stuck to cardboard in black, and then the L and the V I painted out of wood, to show you just the contrast of how they look together. The original inspiration piece had different size letters with different font types, but I didn't want to go that crazy with like 4 different ones. Since I only had 2 different styles of frame, I didn't want to go to 4 different letters. So I stuck it kind of like 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Now I'm just going to take the edge of a Sharpie marker, but this is actually an Expo marker, but a black marker, just to color the edges of the cardboard to make the letter look a little bit thicker. And we're just going to let it pop. And this is just as easy as cutting things out. Obviously it's silly, but in hindsight, with all this intricate little detail, I probably should have stuck the L and the V to the sticker, to the cardboard. It would have been easier to cut those 2 out. But if you do all 4 letters on cardboard, then obviously I'm just showing you it's easy how to do them. I'll pick the hard letters for you guys. Now we're going to take tiny pieces of foam board, like the foam poster board. You can also use those foam letter picture mounts, but you're gonna have to cut them down real thin. And what we're doing that for is because we want to elevate these letters a little bit off. I'm just showing you here how you can cut out the V after it's painted, just to show you, just to give you guys an idea of what it looks like with white. Okay, and then you want to do the same thing with the edges. You want to touch the edges of the cardboard with the paint. Okay. I guess we're not going to do the foam yet, but we are going to eventually put foam behind the letters so that they pop off the surface. So for 2 of them, I'm going to use this fabric from the Dollar Tree, and from 2 of them, we're going to use this headband. I was able to get, this is my last headband, so hopefully you will see more of this in the store soon, hopefully. But I just really wanted the contrast of the 2 different sizes. Originally, I was thinking I would use the black and white scarf from Christmas time, but the windows, that's not right. The little glass areas on these picture frames are so small. I just thought that the black and white check would get lost. So I went ahead and I picked out the small one. Now, you couldn't really tell on the big check that I just used the glass square. It just happens to be like fit perfectly with the pattern. But for the round one, I left the paper behind it so you guys could see what I was doing. I just used the glass to cut around. I made it a little bit bigger on the round so we can make sure we pull the fabric tight. The fabric on the headband is sort of a stretchy kind of nylon, so you want to make sure you have room for that for you to pull that taut if you end up using that. Here's where we're doing pieces of foam. So all I'm just doing is cutting all different little size pieces of the foam board. And this is just going to help. They're going to elevate the letters off of the backing. So how we're going to do this is we're going to do fabric, upside down, face down. We're going to do the fabric, the white side of the paper, and then the glass. The reason we're doing that is, again, I don't want to ruin the glass. I don't want to glue anything to the glass. I didn't want to, but you could do that if you want to. I wanted to be able to reuse these for other projects for different holidays and stuff. So I am, as you can see, fudging with it. You just want to play with it so your fabric lays nice and tight. I do have sort of dexterity issues, so I'm going to use my pliers just to grab little pieces and corners. But you just basically want to work it out so that the fabric lays as flat as possible. Again, if you're going to glue this fabric to the cardboard or to the glass, you can avoid this altogether. If you're going to put it under the glass, you can avoid this step. But of course, I just wanted to have the letters glued to the fabric, and I'll be able to remove it. Again, I feel like a broken record. I'll be able to remove it when I want to do something else with it. So I decided, since the frames were black and white, of each shape had a black or white one, I would leave the fabric for each shape the same. So both ovals have this small check, both squares have the larger check. Okay, it's much easier for the larger check. Basically, I've kind of got it down where you put the fabric in, turn the frame over, stretch it, lay it flat, and then once you get the backing in, it holds it nice and tight. Now I was lining it up. I was going to go put my letters down first, and I realized I definitely wanted the O in an oval, so I just rearranged, and I wanted the O in the white oval so that black O, black oval just didn't look right. So I just swapped it around, but definitely decide where you want to do it before you get your glue gun out. But I'm so sorry that this is like so off the camera. I didn't really realize I hit the jar. I must have hit the jar. But it's so far off the camera. But all I'm doing is I'm gluing the pieces of foam to the back of the letters, and then gluing the back of the foam to the middle of the picture frames. Okay? And I'm doing this, repeating this with all letters. Even the wooden letters, I'm putting foam behind it so it's elevated, but I won't put as many pieces. For the E and the O, I basically put it along both whole sides. And for the E, I put two pieces on the ends of the long E, where it kind of like juts down a little bit. Again, just to give it some support. The wood letters don't really need the support. Okay? And just repeating this with all letters. And that's it. Now you can embellish this with bows or anything you want, but I just love the simplicity of it. I love the way it looks. It just came out just as I imagined. Like I said, the inspiration piece was in red and whites, so if you want to check out Pinterest, go ahead and you can do that. You could follow me on Pinterest, and you can follow my Valentine's Day board, and it's in there. But for the next project, we're going to use this love sign that I found most recently, and I was so excited. We're going to use some decoupage, and we're going to use the big check fabric from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm doing is I'm leaving the staples in. Basically, I pulled the letters apart. 2 of them are white and 2 of them are pink. Now, hindsight being what it is, I probably should have painted these 2 letters white, because it does kind of peek a little pink through, but that's not objectionable to me. If it's objectionable to you, keep that in mind, okay? But what I'm doing is I'm putting down a nice coat of Mod Podge, pushing the fabric down, and then I'm making sure that the staple comes through, or the little nails or the brad nails comes through the fabric, because we're going to reattach them just using those brad nails again. Okay? And then you want to make sure you get a good coat, find all of your edges, definitely coat on all of your edges. Then we're just going to let it dry as you saw it dried for a couple of hours. I didn't put it in my oven. Kelly Barlow puts hers in her oven to dry it. If you ever check out her videos, I'll link her channel in the description box down below. She dries a lot of things in a very low temperature oven. I just left it in my house. Then I'm going to turn it over, and once this fabric is stiffened, it makes it much easier to cut. You get real nice clean cuts. I showed you a little bit how you could use your utility knife if you want to, as long as it's really sharp, or you could just use your scissor. If you're a righty, you're going to use your scissor. You're going to cut around the right side of the object because the inside part of the scissor wants to be closest to the material. No, the other way around. Yeah. To get a nice clean cut. And that includes in the middle of the circle. If you feel like you need to sand around the edges, you can. But I'm just showing you here. We're just lining the holes back up with the little brad nails and pushing down. You could add additional glue if you want to. I didn't want to. I didn't feel the need to. It stands up. You can see it's a tinge of pink there in the checks, but it really looks really nice with all of the pieces put together. And here's how it looks. Doesn't look very pink there, but it is a little tinge pink. And actually, I kind of like it. It's kind of makes it a little stand out a little bit different from the rest of the black and white stuff. And for the last project, this is actually like a Hobby Lobby dupe. You could see here this banner was on sale for $5.99. It has more hearts than I did, but I want mine just to be 5 feet long and fit in the space. But you can make it with all 5 hearts because you get 5 hearts in a package from the Dollar Tree. Now, I had all different ones, different packages, but I wanted to show you if you wanted to use these, and you can only find these with the arrows, it is really easy to cut the arrows off. All I did was score the front and the back, following the shape of the arrow, and then the actual arrow, the shape of the heart, and then the actual arrow just snaps right off. Take a tiny bit of sandpaper just to knock off any burrs that you might have left over. Now, if you're gonna leave your edges brown and raw, like you're gonna stain it or something, you want to go ahead and take like one of those brown stain pens and just go along the edge to emulate that burnt look. I've taken all 3 hearts and I just hit them with spray adhesive. Just wanted to show you guys different options of how to attach it. And then I cut them out. But then the first thing I did after the spray adhesive is I pulled the corners back and I added hot glue to all the edges, wherever it was loose. Just like this, as you can see, go around the whole edge. Just be careful, hot glue does like to come through fabric. I have mine on low temp, but so you have to move a little faster, but you risk burning yourself a little less. Now, just like with the word love, you want to hug your scissor real close to this wood and just cut it out. This fabric is not stiffened, so you really can't really do it with your utility knife as well. If it's a little sharp, we're going to end up getting the point out of that little check one with the utility knife a little bit, but it's really hard to do that way, so keep in mind. Then we're going to take the little tiny screwdriver just to repoke the hole. I'm making sure I go through all of the fabric and the hole as well. Then we're going to take a jute cord. The description on Hobby Lobby said it was jute cord, so I said go ahead, jute cord. Now, this is the only color we're adding, but you can make these beads black and white if you want to. But the inspiration piece had red and white beads. Basically, it was a white, a red, and a white. And Dollar Tree beads we're just going to use. I found, since I'm only hanging 3 hearts, I need 8 white and 4 red. Just looking for the size that I really like and then matching them off into sets. Now, when we use these beads from the Dollar Tree, you want to make sure that you drill through the hole to make sure you don't have any burrs in there. What I did was to the end of my jute, I basically put a little bit of that low temp hot glue, waited just a second, and then started twisting around to make like a needle. We've done that lots of times on the channel before. And that's what I used to feed on all the beads. I fed on all the beads, and then I divided the sections up after I tied the hanger on the right side. I found the middle. I hung the middle heart by folding the string in half, pushing the folded string through the hole, and then wrapping the folded string around the heart. Hung the first one in the middle, then did the same thing where I divided the other 2 in half, found the halfway mark, made sure I pushed beads, then it was wooden heart, beads, wooden heart, beads, wooden heart, beads, wooden heart. And then I just used to match the edges. I basically folded it in half and tried to match so it was even on both sides. What I did do was I added a double knot to the inside of the beads. What that means is toward the side of the beads that's towards the center heart, you want to put a knot, because when this hangs, you don't want your beads to slide down. You don't have to worry about knotting the other end, but you can if you want to. That's entirely up to you. To knot it while the beads are on there, you just make your hoop big enough, and then you feed your beads through twice, and that makes the double knot. And then here it is hanging on the china cabinet just below the one we made last year, which I really love. I think they look charming together. And that's it. These were 3 really easy projects. I hope you guys tackle them. If you do, don't forget to share with me on social media. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in making one or all of these projects. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you guys take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye.